in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Good evening once again to the ESL Pro League. It's going to be just one final game between Astralis and Dignitas to round out our weekend CS extravaganza. I'm Alex Machine Richardson. This fella is Halvor Vendetta Gullestol. And we already feel like there is a little bit of a mismatch, a little bit of a kind of disparity between these two teams at this point in time. You've got a very drilled, a very kind of core Astralis up against Dignitas, who have been a little hamstrung lately. We did feel like there could have been a little bit more enthusiasm, a little bit more of that kind of that light at the end of the tunnel for Dignitas in this slump because of their recent success.
Yeah.
Securing the spot in the DreamHack Malmo qualifiers. However, Inferno didn't indicate too much of that, though the score wasn't as awful as it could have been.
The score was pretty enough. I guess we also have to take into consideration the fact that Dignitas have been playing for about 10, 11 hours a stretch now.
It's a long day.
Yeah, so they might just be completely out of it at this point as well.
Like wrapped in their duvet, they've got a pillow up against the wall, and they're like kind of half playing.
Yeah, and I mean in many ways, I would assume that the main goal for the day was to qualify,
of course,
for the tournament, right? And I think regardless of any day, it's going to be, you can't go into this kind of matchup being like, yeah, we should get 2 wins.
Well, you can't come into this matchup saying we should get 2 losses or we're going to get 2 losses.
No. You can hope for 2 wins, but you shouldn't tell yourself that you should get 2 wins.
Okay, I understand.
So it's all about being reasonable with your expectations, right? And I think at this point, Dignitas are kind of content with what they've done. Not saying that they're going to give up by any means. They're not that kind of guys, but it is easy to not be as intense as you'd like to be, or kind of let off the gas pedal a tiny bit when it gets this late into the night.
Well, my main highlight then is one of the reasons Dignitas found success in that qualifier was because of one man, and that was Kiebi. Oh, wait, you've corrected me. Kiebu was what you told me before.
No. Kjærby?
That one. That's basically what I just said.
That would be the Norwegian version. It's completely muffled
Danish
in Danish.
is a little bit of a weird one, right?
Oh, yeah.
All the other Scandinavians kind of go, ooh, what is that language? Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, that's my geography knowledge. But basically he dropped a 30 bomb. He was a big part, an integral part in the Dignitas machine. Yeah. So if he's up and running, we could very well have an exciting game on our hands. It's going to be Mirage. We've already said, we kind of touched on it before the break, that we've seen a lot of Dignitas on Mirage. Then again, I'm now thinking, hang on a second, Astralis, Mirage, they are usually a pretty kind of lethal combination.
Yeah, Astralis is a very competent Mirage team. I wouldn't say it's their best map by any stretch of the imagination, but still a very serviceable one. And I think for any team that's among the top 4 in the world, any map is going to be extremely good versus a team trying to break through, and I guess a team at a level of Dignitas. And right now, I don't know. I think judging from past results with Dignitas might be a tiny bit misleading. They haven't played the greatest of opponents compared to Astralis level, and the Navi game they had might give you a tiny bit of a wrong idea as to how close that game actually was. Because at a certain point, you had a score of 14-7 in favor of Navi.
Did they start? Did they get a bit silly? Did they start?
No, they didn't get silly. I don't think that's Navi's MO. But I definitely think it's a case of I guess, you could call it reluctancy or, what have you, complacency.
Complacency, that's the word. Let's stick with that one.
Complacency from Navi's side, kind of figuring that we're so close and we don't really have to go all out. I mean, eventually they actually did. So that was good. Dignitas, they figured out something that worked, though, and that's something they have to bring with them versus Astralis. Astralis are a team that like to play super passively on their CT sides, not give away picks too often. Dignitas were really good at actually showing that they can execute onto that A site in particular versus Navi. And they're going to have to see if that works early on.
Well, I mean, they won the knife. That's a step in the right direction. They will have their choice of side. Halvor's got good expectations coming into their defensive side, but your caster pair are ready and waiting in the wings to bring you our final game of Sunday's CS games. Here we are, though. It's going to be Pansy and Uber. I'm messing up my words. Let's see if they can do better.
Well, if experience has told us anything about the last couple hours, probably not, but we're going to have a crack at it anyway. The knife round did, of course, go to Dignitas, and they will choose the CT side to kick it off. We talked about the Dignitas machine, how well the cog's turning. Some high hopes for Halva for them on this map here. Let's see if they can deliver.
Yeah, let's see how it goes. Again, T-side Astralis, CT-side Dig. This should be fun. And Tensky's going to be the one going straight in towards this one at the moment, and somehow still alive. Don't know how that's happened, but it will be eventually going towards B for the Astralis side. And MSL's making some good work with this, down to a 3v3. MSL still on the chase, one through short. That was Rabino getting caught, but MSL is just like a freight train right now, taking off heads from Astralis. And Device and Zipnix to keep this one alive, but Device has the cross, going to spot out MSL, but MSL stays alive, going to try and challenge out Zipnix, and it's Kirby to find him, but the plant is for Device. They know where he is, but Device is hitting shots like a champ.
Great little peek out from Device there as well, and he just needs to have a crack here as well at Kirby when he was trying to get the defuse there, and Astralis cleaned that one up there. MSL, some flashes of brilliance there from him, but unfortunately, Device was able to communicate his position as he pushed across the bomb site, so was only ever going to get just the one kill. And well held by Device as well, and it's kind of easy actually to lose your nerve when you're sat so far away, but you've got to back yourself in that, and you better believe that Device was able to do that. So he'll get himself an AK here. It's going to be MP7, 2 Mac 10s, and a Galil, and a smattering of utility.
It's no P90, Mitch, so you know what? It's a downgrade, if anything. But yeah, as I said, the one thing I liked about this is because last time they met, this map was played in Barcelona between these two, and it was a really nice kind of display of the Danish style that's been brewing, the quite passive CT side on occasion, but then the aggression prior to the smokes. And this round's actually being kept quite close here by Dig. Currently a man up with the Deagles. Device, however, still standing is the big threat at this point.
And yet another plant for Astralis as well. So Kirby staked his claim to the A site there with a nice pick on Cajun B. And MSL not able to connect with the Device. That's the problem. He's now down to 20 health. Device picks him up there, goes for the spray with the AK. Kirby eventually able to silence him here. And, well, Dupree has to take a back seat to this one, as Kirby, in fact, is going to give him no other choice. It's going to be a defuse here coming in for Dignitas. And they do manage to respond to Astralis here in round 2.
Yeah, Deagle Bros turn up. All right, so Kirby again. The man that Alex was taking a little bit of a shine to after the first map, again, providing some good results early into this one. 1-1 now, going to reset Astralis a little, keep them relatively at bay here. But then again, Dig can't do massive investments because you know that Astralis can come back into this with something built up. And actually, KGB goes straight on the rifle.
Wasting no time, and KGB hoping to create some openings with that one now as well. It's going to be a smoke just a short. No AWP yet for Dignitas, of course, but still MSL is set up in towards that mid window. We'll have to wait for a moment before he can capitalise. His Device as well has already pressed in towards that T ramp, and it's just the one player actually sitting on A. Now, as Rubino had to rotate back through connector. Smokes out as well from Dignitas just to slow this up a little bit. It's only Carrigan teasing at B. Cajun B waiting for the Flames to subside, and he's caught there. He's all trying to rotate through. MSL picks him up. It's another smoke, but Cajun B opts to step in front of it. And he does get that kill as well. That's that AK being brought up, being put to good use, but he's not able to spray down any further. MSL down to 15, but still gets the kill. Device, though, with a bit of flair, of course, brings that little kill out towards Kirby. And now A side is potentially open for Astralis to push across now. It's Conflict trying to come in from CT ramp. He sets Zipnix down on his rear end, and it's a flash to slow him up. Bomb yet to go down as Dupree wants to secure, and he does. Config drops, and it's a smoke as well in this direction. Device now lingers on the other side of it.
And Astralis halted because they had no one watching CT. And that's where we saw the final trouble coming from, but now it's just Device. He's left in a 1v2. The pop flash catches him fully. Now, they don't know this, but as that smoke will fade, the position gets noted. He gets down one. That's MSL gone, but Tensky will keep the round close. And again, a little bit of an investment coming out from Dignitas. This could be met with some force. The Deagles are coming out strong today, Mitch. I don't know what it is for the Danes, but it's going well for them.
Probably about almost the best result without winning the round that Astralis could realistically hope for there.
Yeah.
It was just Cajun B bought the AK. He got one entry, got MSL down to 15 health, and then Astralis were able to make some cheeky little plays. The Deagle shot from Device was quite nicely placed, and with the plant, Astralis were at least able to give himself a little bit of muscle going into this next one here. But MSL now has the AWP. Device as well. I see what you mean about putting colours in names now, right. Yes. Clever lad.
And I feel that Astralis have gone pretty envy-esque at this moment. But then again, they know Dignitas's money is pretty low, so they want to keep trying to break it pretty much at this point. Keep them down as low as possible. So they're going to keep reinvesting until they either win it or, you know, are forced to stop by this point. But there you go. When the Rifles are doing well, and Rabino's going to take a bit of a risky peek, and look how quickly Device is there. Just a hop, skip, and a jump over towards stairs, and a quick deny from MSL through the smoke before it plumes, but Rabino goes back in for more. And again, MSL is the one keeping these boys back and in place. But the 2 Tech-9s and 1 rifle left is still deadly. However, that rifle is on the other side of things.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of a way to go, Dupree, before he can actually get to grips with these Dignitas players. Tensky is in mid and wasn't spotted by Dupree. And there's MSL picking off Carrigan. Now Rubino can slow it up a little bit here, but Dupree does find Tensky now. Goes low. Rubino should be able to meet him easily enough here. The bomb is down, and KJB set to defend it here. Great work with the Tech-9. Finds Rubino. He gets the double. An important round for Astralis to bring that one back at a disadvantage. But they kept buying up until they managed to break Dignitas down, and that is very, very well played, and they will get the 4th here. 7-3 for Device. Neither Carrigan nor Zipnik's really getting involved in a big way right now, but fortunately they haven't had to.
Nope, it's been pretty much done by the others, and to be fair, the others have had the rifles. It's been Device having a rifle, or Cajun B having a rifle, or, you know, such and so on. It's been rarely those two. So, again, not the worst in the world for them just yet. Dupree's going to take a quick gander towards mid, and the one thing I would say is Dupree is extremely good at finding these, you know, sort of angles and working his way through short really sneakily. He's one of the players that you just cannot keep your eyes off when it comes to this map on the T side. So Astralis, again, going to get that first pick. Hit the brakes a little. So need to find out what they're up against. Have Dignitas bought? Are they going aggressive somewhere? Well, actually, they're at the moment, they're kind of posturing towards that B side. They're leaning a little to the left here because at the moment, just Rabino is left on it.
Dupree's still in mid there as well. So that first pick from Delpan, he might actually be able to get on towards MSL in mid, and he does. Picks him up. Just neutralizing presence here as well, but Carrigan is going to be able to get on towards Rabino, who had a crack with the CZ coming out from Dark, but not going to work out. And now Dupree just tapping away, does manage to take down Kirby. It's just Config left, and Astralis would love now, after breaking this economy, to have a clean round, and they do get it. No guns dropped. They get their 3rd on the board. And with Dignitas not spending too much money last round, a couple of Deagles were bought into, and right now we're going to see them actually stay with pistols.
Oh yeah, sitting below 2k isn't pretty. Config could maybe get a P250 or a nade or something if he wants to, but generally he's been sitting over by B, so unless he can maybe get a scout comfortably, there's no real point investing, so he's going to abstain. And actually, we've finally got a real eco, Mitch. It's such a rarity in CSGO.
See MSL getting blown back through the wall. Rubino backing away from mid as well, and yeah, absolute full safety for Dignitas, so unlikely that they're going to be able to get too much away from this one here. Zipnik's, oh, actually, got to be careful. No! Config jumps across the front of him when he actually initially was standing behind, so he's getting caught out there as well, and Zipnik's getting it done with that UMP, and well, now the rest of Astralis waking up when they're required to. Carrigan's only had to get the one frag, and Astralis starting to stretch this one out to a bit of a lead here, but rifles now for Dignitas. Only the one kit for Config here, and just a smoke flash combo for most of their players.
So Dig, as you said, limited on utility means that they can't withstand a extended fight. Device, I love his plays towards B. He's one of my favorite players towards B. He can open this site so well. Config should be aware it's a factor, but now, looking at the initial exchanges, Cajun B watching the push out from ramp, expecting the aggression to come through. And he's right to be feeling as so. Now Astralis is going to look to flex their muscles on the other side of the map. Going to get a bit of a trade out in the end. Config down to 8 HP though. Going to have to be reeling his way back towards the site, find a more safe angle.
Absolutely crippled he was there by the Molotov, the flash as well, so we couldn't quite tell that he was still stood on the flames. And only 8 points of health now. Is it going to make it harder for him to try and hang on that B site? But it's not being pressed yet for Astralis. They're actually bring the bomb back around as Dupree tries to work some magic in through underpass. MSL is not in mid-window. He's actually on short here, so Zipnix has to be quick. He does manage to get away with that one now as well, and follows it up with a flash. So that's the surprise element for Dignitas' push on towards short now, being lost. And this isn't going to stop Astralis from their push over towards A. It's going to be Rubino. There's MSL there in mid, at least can shut down Zipnix. Rubino as well doing his job over on A. That's important, but Config as well going to drop quickly after a little bit the Astralis plant.
3v2, they're in a great spot for this too. Oh, Device going to allow even a safer path of exit and escape. Cajun B may be lost to this if Tensky just plays for exits, but God, words are hard when you've been casting for like 5.5 hours straight. But Tensky looking for this, and he's not going to be given many opportunities. He's actually going to be peeked out here, and the deadly duo of Doom does cause the demise Tensky in the end, and the money's looking very comfy for Astralis, up to almost 10k on a hell of a lot of players, and on the other side is still like, how many times will we have pistols today? The answer is a lot.
And that's what we mean about Astralis' first couple of rounds. You see they lost round 2 and 3, but with the amount of pressure they managed to put towards Dignitas and the amount of people they managed to kill even in losing rounds. Now Dignitas still sat on pistols and haven't managed to get any guns away. No, nothing salvaged. And they just have to wait for the money to tick up of its own accord now, which sucks, of course, to wait for. With Kirby and MSL already falling, Rubino hoping maybe to catch someone as they try and push Palace. There'll be 2 players coming forward in a second. It'll be Device and Cajun B as Carrigan falls to his death. As Rubino, unfortunately, not able to pull anything out of that one now. Config in connector. He's actually got himself that 8k. He's shut down immediately.
Yeah, no room for play that.
All there.
And again, yeah, going to be locked out. And really, Dignitas just need to kind of take an eco on this and just kind of suffer through it for a couple of times, because really the money's so good that these kind of like half-assed buys just aren't going to cut it really. So finally we're going to get to see a decent buy here, right? So MSL with the AWP is going to be a nice factor, but then again you've got a double AWP. It's like anything that Dignitas can do, Astralis are doing better. They have the better money, they have, you know, everything going their way. So for Dig, they've got to do something special. They've got to pull something out. And actually MSL going for an early fight. That's pretty interesting, even though really Rush doesn't want to see it.
That's Rubino,
Cajun
actually.
B and MSL. And actually Device will find Config, and that's going to open up the B site. Going to go Dupree will catch him. MSL did get down Carrigan in the end, so there's the response coming out. And all in all, Astralis again, just stronger overall. There's no one from Dignitas near B. The bomb's gone down. Dupree's set up on shore. The bomb's planted for him. Device is even in a B apartments to make it worse. It's time to save again.
Yeah, we did see MSL's AWP get scavenged by Kirby. He picks it up there. Yeah, this time Rubino went mid actually for some reason and challenged that one out. MSL had the AWP over towards A. So against double AWP there, Rubino was never really going to stand much of a chance there. Kirby not able to catch it. That's classy. Bouncing across the doorway. Actually be able to take that AWP away from Kirby as well. So that's going to restore double AWP status here to Astralis without any extra money spent. And Rubino now really can't do much. So that's quite annoying for Astralis, naturally. I think it's actually... He either doesn't want it or didn't think to go back for it there. So he won't get it. But probably can be bought up now as well as Astralis are stacking. Well, they got a heck of a lot of money. Just one, though, this round. Cajun B on the AK.
This is pretty harsh. Carrigan's been quiet, which is, I guess, this small little bonus I guess you have to kind of cling to. Like, you know, Carrigan used to be the beast on this map. He used to be the beast unleashed. And we're going to see that mid-aggression. This is what I like. This is what I think Dig can do quite well, is these little aggressive plays. They were failing doing it, you know, in individual pushes. You know, a little bit of a play towards maybe Palace on A or, you know, what have you. But now adjusting well. Now they're going to be able to pincer in a little bit. Astralis going to respond by trying to break through connector and towards ramp. Ramp more successful than connector, of course. There's now 3 less players standing for Astralis, so pushing out towards A.
The other shot you've got to hit Tensky on towards Zipnix there. He was only down to 14 health, wasn't able to finish him off now, so he'll have to wait for a moment as Config at least gets that nade to finish things off there. So that's cleverly played, but Cajun B finds MSL. And it's Config with a scout in hand here as well. You can hear that one ringing out across the A side. The bomb being dropped back in that corner as well, so Astraliston to pick this one away will be tricky. They can afford to go for it though. That's the main point here as well. And that's kind of where we see some very interesting stuff come out. The Device just taking Config apart at the seams, but Tensky and Rubino do step forward and do their duty at 7-3. Astralis again with a 4-round lead, but the money is definitely where the real lead is. Economically, it's looking very, very good for the leading Danes right now.
Yeah, you can't see the Danes.
No.
But yeah, money's still not great for Dignitas, even though they did win that round. You can see the Famas there with Tensky is going to be held in contempt, but not going to land the shot on the cross. But look how quickly Astralis want to punish this. Rubino's going to get the chance to respond, but going to have to be fended off by that molly. Carrigan looking to punish through connector, but gets picked up by Tensky, playing the edge of that smoke so well. Is MSL going to take a little bit of a peek above? But Astralis, where are you going to head now?
Yeah, real chance for Dignitas here now as Astralis are forced to regroup and reset back on this T-ramp. Molotov's being used now as well to slow them up. And Dupree wasn't really in a big hurry anyway, so it doesn't really bother Astralis so much just now that they've actually got to enter this one. Now, they've got plenty of utility to work with. They can actually put together a bit of an impromptu set play towards A if they wanted to. Zipnix finds Kirby, but know, that Molotov coming out. Actually, going to be doing a lot of damage towards Rubino. He burns down. So from the grave, Dupree actually manages to pick him back up. But Device and Zipnix are very, very low here. And Tensky in a position, but fully flashed. Still, Zipnix wasn't allowed onto the side. It was MSL that caught him midway through. And Device actually might sit back on this one.
Might be. He's the guy who took the P90.
Still got 8.2k, so...
Yeah.
Money is so sick for Astralis right now, except for Carrigan, but he's had a rough last few rounds.
Yeah. Let's see what Device does here. His options to save are getting limited as well because Tensky's on the flank behind him. And I doubt he's going to assume that Config's backed away. That's not something you just assume, but they've completely vacated the A site. And his timing couldn't be more perfect.
Oh, God.
Tensky... Guys?
Oh, now Tensky doubles
around.
back, yeah.
Okay.
Device still plants, though, as well.
Yeah, of course he's going to get the plant.
Device?
He might just try and clear CT or just save down here, just to make it a little bit stranger. No, he's going to go back for the plant, but he needs to plant safer ramp, and I don't think he is, no. There you go, Tensky will claim it. A bit of a curious round. It was a bit of a, you know, almost scary situation, but in the end, didn't get too far out of hand.
Dignitas get the one back there as well, and they've got 2 now in a row. You can see that split by the 6-round winning streak of Astralis, but since that point, Astralis looking a little bit quieter as well. And now the absence of Carrigan really stepping up, fragging actually being felt a little bit more. Everyone's starting to realise, like, hey, Carrigan, what's going on? Definitely need him to be lifting now, as Dignitas have started to just dig their heels in a little bit more now, and it's MSL through mid. He should see some legs here in a moment, but oh no, another smoke comes down. Rubino as well, unable to really get much information from mid. Device still AWPing, and he is sat there as well. And it's going to be Zipnix and Dupree working their way from underpass now. Smoke as well to Connector. So Rubino won't have a read of this one until they're right up in front of it.
They're boosting for the window information as well. So that's going to allow Device and Carrigan to move forward eventually if they want to. And claim shots like that. Zipnik's going to get a perfect beginning. They're going to molly it out, get control of that. Now no one else can walk in. That's theirs for the taking if they want it, so they can go up short, they could go towards B and make a real play of it. Rubino was the only one who could stop them, but the smoke's there. And now Astralis, turn tail and check out what's going on. Carrigan, you better be careful. You've got the bomb there. You can't just go giving that away, but Config going to respond quickly, going to put the smoke out, takes a quick shot towards Zipnix, and he gets it. Now, 3v4. Rubino needs to provide another. Can he find that bomb? It's on Carrigan. The flash will not catch him.
Didn't see Carrigan cross. Did no idea.
No.
Config now getting a little bit toasty as he's able to make his way through towards Van. He's still trying to figure out where Astralis are set on this side. Dupree able to use the element of surprise, but Rubino biting back quickly. Device eventually making his way over there. Yeah, a little bit interesting there. Carrigan, so Rubino didn't see Carrigan cross to the side. He was just not looking at that second archway. And the timing didn't favour him as well. It's funny when you can see the X-ray, the things that actually happen here.
It's a little unlucky. I thought he'd seen him earlier on short, but not to be the case. And Mitch, you just saw it there as well. The money.
2 rounds in a row for
reset.
Dignitas, but they, from what I remember, they sustained 3 deaths in each of those 2 rounds. So yeah, they've been dropping guns for each other. And this is a sad story here. MSL with a lot to do. Zipnix is going to send him packing.
Certainly is. Now 5v4. This is a little bit of a one-sided show until then. Okay, Rubino does find Cage and B, but now this is the main threat from Astralis. They were looking at B from the very offset. But Dignitas finding everyone else have recovered 2 rifles. That's really good. But can they put them to use? You've got Device, Zipnix, and Dupree to find, who are set up pretty darn well on this. And now they all have guns. So for Dignitas,
Flashes available.
keeping all of these weapons are actually very important, so they might just look to save this.
Rubino flashed himself there, unfortunately. He actually had 2 flashes to work with now, and still a couple left on Dig, so, it's conceivable that they could have gone for it, but they're going to back away as well. Given the state that their economy's in, to make a slip trying to retake the side is just going to put them in the hole monetarily in the next round as well, so not worth it. Now with only a few rounds left in the half here, they don't want to have to save on the last round of the half or something like that. It's very annoying. We'll just be sensible about it.
T-side wise, this is kind of what we expect from Astralis, I guess. Maybe a little more. We'll see, 9-4. Astralis with everything they need. And Dignitas trying to cobble something together here. They did recover those 3 guns, which is massively important. They can kind of build around them by getting just a Deagle here or there, or maybe a CZ, which is what they've got, and utility to boot. So Astralis looking like they might be doing a bit more of a default, but Kiebi and Rubino have been going aggressive down ramp when they do this.
Now Kiebi already made his way in towards that T ramp. A bit of that CT aggression actually turning against Dignitas there as well. Astralis a little bit too canny for that one now. MSL wants to follow up this great grenade with some Deagle work, and it does. It's fine. Cajun B falls down as Ipnix again punishes Rubino. So that aggressive movement towards T ramp stifled for now, but there's Tensky actually getting the kill on Karrigan. As Ipnix falls, MSL getting work done now as well. It's Dupree pushing out towards him. The flash. Hopefully followed up by some more sick plays there as Tensky's going to be joining him up on the stairs. 3v2 here, so definitely big advantage to Dignitas as Astralis come forward. Great nade towards the Feist, cut him down, and bit by bit, it's a good little comeback there from Dignitas in that round. And Config only had the CZ to work with the entire time and still not only stayed alive, but got his team through.
Yeah, and MSL getting all that information too, so very vital. Able to see where people were, take the fights in the right places he could. And if they end this with one more round in their favor, for Dignitas, that's not too bad. Again, though, Astralis' CT side is extremely good. It's like when people talk to you about Fnatic's map pool, it's like, well, it's good, you know, it's pretty decent. You can't say much about it more than that. Astralis is very good on their CT side, so Dig are gonna have to, you know, really buckle up for that ride. As Dupree, Karrigan, Device, and Cajun B starting to look towards getting mid control. MSL's just gonna wander through. They're right next to each other in mid. Dupree's just gonna be like, did I hear someone? Yes, I did, and now I've got a follow-up shot as well. He takes a swing out, gets the spray down, and look how low Kiebi and Config are, but they're still fighting back. Now we're left in a 2v4. Device with the AWP, and Karrigan has a bit of a cheeky chance here.
Device slowly making his way towards Tetris here. I think he may have spotted Kiebi through the smoke, and it's a quick little flick in the direction of Rubino. Well, he's not out of jail yet, but that's a damn good start.
Everyone's rotating towards A. Karrigan's going to go behind them. He can still damage here.
No bomb yet for Karrigan. He still needs to obviously get through the little crawl space as well. So he's
going to hold
back.
He's going to hold this. He's behind the little, you know, thing here, shelf, I guess. He's going to get the drop on at least Config.
Oh my.
Device is going to go get the bomb. And he doesn't want to pull the trigger yet. He wants to know where the rest of the players are. So he can say, okay, he's set right up here. I'll get the knife kill if I need to. No worries. All right. Don't need to give too much away. Smoke out the corner. Completely control it. This is Astralis playing beautiful CS, bearing in mind. Kiebi's going to split towards short. Tensky is going to have to try and fight through Karrigan to get even close to that side.
Tensky just trying to give himself a safe push through the smoke by putting it ahead there, but Molotov going to get quenched immediately there from Karrigan, so that's no good. Device now should be able to pick this one up on short, and he does. It's Kiebi falling down. A little bit close for comfort, but now Tensky has to work his way out of shop. And that round turned on its head. Astralis were in deep trouble after Dignitas turned it up, but that's half-time. It's 10-5, and what a beautiful little last few seconds of that round, Lauren.
Was that a 2v4? I feel like it might have been. I just...
2v3?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
he got the first towards balcony, didn't he? Sorry.
We lost 2 Dignitas players, then I think we did see 3 kills come back from Dignitas. Probably 2v3, I think.
Okay. Pretty impressive, considering the positioning. And again, individual strength with Astralis there, more than anything, just the fact that they can do that sort of play. But anyway, it's time for Dignitas to take control. This is their half that they can start determining how they want to go about this. They've got a lot of utility here. Actually, 3 players coming in with full utility. Kiebi and Rubino going to be going in as default. It looks like a default A, pretty much. So, you know, 1 smoke to CT being lined up, 1 towards stairs, MSL doing stairs, and Tensky doing jungle. And this is it. This is your bare bones standard A hit with a lot of nades to follow, not what you normally see in pistols.
No, not much armor as well on Dignitas. That's the big thing. That investment towards utility will leave them a little bit fragile here, but it doesn't really matter. The grenade comes straight through on towards Cajun B, and they don't need to be tanky if they can just move on towards this side. Dupree, full flashed. In fact, there was actually a Dignitas player jump past him. He just got a glimpse of Config, and he's not going to get away that easily.
Config with the insane play. Zipnix is on the rotate, though, so this is going to be the undoing probably of MSL, unless MSL predicts it at the right time. So timing is everything in this duel, and actually MSL with no armor could find this hard, and he does. But the information is now spotted. Kiebi's going to start his rotate, so it's like a flank upon a flank upon a flank. And the bomb is now being swarmed. Astralis everywhere. The Danes just coveting it with their bodies as they are going to try and get this one done. The diffuser's coming out. It has to be Kiebi to stop it. He's got the time. Oh, it's too late. Kiebi hits the shot a second afterwards.
I can hear this baleful moaning coming from the desk as well.
We assume they're watching the desk. Well, the game.
I'm not looking at cats on Imgur. Right, but yeah, look, I mean, in the afterplant situation, Dignitas obviously didn't really have the survivability of what armor would give you, but still, they had so many different angles. It was just a matter of timing. I think they really just messed it up for them. I don't know. Now Device back in towards mid. It's going to be a nade as well. finding much at all, in fact, and he's not going to waste his time hanging around too long. So WMP, FAMAS, MP9, and an M4 being brought up here. Vice is going to be pop flashing himself here as well, and this could work so well. He's going to go towards MSL. He just sees him there as well. Will he spray down through the smoke? He does. He doesn't get another kill, but a lot of damage across, and there's Carrigan as well, chiming in. Device now preparing, firing up towards stairs. He does get onto his
He got the second one!
Yep. Didn't even see it, I think, as well. Tensky just put himself in the line of fire, and that's devastating stuff for Dignitas as well. After losing the pistol, they tried a gambit with the... How?
Why?
Oh, I think the pop flash was really well timed. I think it was convenient as well that Device actually saw that player just around the smoke.
I missed the P90 almost at this point.
Careful what you wish for, Lauren. That's all I'm going to say.
I pray for it. I pray that
Carrigan has 3 kills.
Carrigan's just chilling out, alright? Leave him alone.
He doesn't need to get kills. I mean, Device now is getting
like,
3, but...
I will carry you to our sweet, sweet victory. KGB steals what could have been the most beautiful of aces.
But I'm more interested in what Carrigan's role has been here so far. I mean, he's only got 11 deaths, so it's about the same as the rest of his team. So he's not dying any more than others. He's just not getting involved in the fights.
Carrigan normally plays on short. If I'm not mistaken, my brain needs to work now because Zipnik's on B. Device does what Device wants. I'm trying to think. But they're going for a mid push. You won't find out this round. Maybe just Carrigan's having a bad game. Or, you know, a quiet game. It's not bad. They're winning still, so... it's just he used to walk, doesn't anymore. Device going to take a quick little flick of said wrist towards Kievi. And Config maybe trying to collate that bomb towards the top of mid as Tensky, Config and Rabino are going to have to try and pull something off. But Zipnix is going to watch their push through from short, so it's going to be a very hard one if they want to try and hit connector. And Device just made it worse. Yeah.
He went from 1 second to watching towards Tensky actually trying to come out of underpass, and then just lazily checks Palace and gets the kill there as well. So Dupree is free to push through there and eventually make a flank towards mid if he fancies. Config now. The smoke's only going to last for so long through mid. He has to be careful, but there's no one in connector. Device is going to check mid window, so the timing may not work out for Config there. He does get a spot there on towards Device, who's not going to challenge this. He backs away. Already has 2 kills that around Device does, and Config wants to follow this up and try to boost into mid window. Just make a bit of sound for now. He's got the bomb though as well, so...
Dupree's hunting.
Yeah.
Dupree is going to ruin everything. It's like, Dignitas have these great pre-made plans of like really nice, well, yeah, there you go. So they've like really well-constructed rounds, like, the pistol round was cool with the default smokes and then the stack of nades towards CT. Or, these sort of really nice plays are really cool, right? But then Astralis just don't really care about it, if I'm honest. They're like, well, we're just going to push you anyway because we're Astralis and it works. So all the well-constructed plans in the world come to light, but if you can't hit the shots at the end of the day, if Astralis play the retakes perfectly and they, win in 2v4s or 2v3s, it's just frustrating to see almost.
Device 1 kill away from clocking up 30. No rounds for Dignitas so far in this half, and that famed Astralis CT side is definitely living up to its name. But Rubino opens on towards Cajun B there as well. He found that one at T-Ramp. It was an aggressive push, but Carrigan responds. He works down mid, finds Kirby, and traded back and forth yet again. Now Dignitas considering moving through this connector, but there's smoke up. And they actually pull back to mid here. Top of mid and maybe onto short as Zimnix is going to be drawn by Device. Device reading this really well. He cheated on towards B actually there, and, well, trade again. 3v2. Bomb back to A now.
Well, Bomb was trying to get back to A. And again, Zipnix doesn't like those plans. He's opposed to them. And now Device knows where that last player is. And Tensky trying to bait out the shot, bait out a little bit of information, find something, some silver lining to play with, and actually catching a good shot towards Zipnix then. But again, all of Dignitas' well-constructed, thought-out plans just being kind of brought to tatter by Zipnix in a good position, or Device just playing quite a passive angle. It's hard to watch as... it is Astralis just playing a level above.
What I enjoy about watching Dignitas play, though, is that you can see mentally the cogs turn. Like, you talked about these plans as well-laid plans, and it's actually clear to see that there is a distinct direction here. Unfortunately, that Dignitas engine is running out of gas as well, and this half has been a source of constant punishment from Astralis. Device now with 30, of course. And again, those last few kills were just traded in and out, but eventually Zipnix managed to shut down and get 2 of his own, and it's a matter of time. Carrigan has himself a Scar 20 for this round.
It's gonna hurt. Dignitas is gonna go out. Pretty much almost dry at this one. Gonna be playing ahead of the smokes, which is what we've kind of grown to expect from them, but Device knows what's up. He's gonna always know what's up. But KGB playing quite passive here, and Device fully flashed out on the verge of the smoke. Spots one, gets it, started towards Config, adjusts almost towards Rabina, but MSL finally punishes him. Left down to the 3v3 though.
all this commotion has actually delayed the bomb actually getting to the site. So as soon as MSL tries to go for it, Zipnik's to spray down. He was smoked, then Flash still gets it. Cajun B finds Rubino, and Carrigan puts the last nail in the coffin on towards Tensky. And Astralis, a much more convincing result there as well. 16-11. Well, here you have it. That was a rough one for Dignitas to bring it away in the second map. And very, very, very quiet second half for them as they were shut down from the get-go.
Yeah, it was a bit of a shame to see because, as you said, and as we saw, the fact of the matter being that actually what we saw coming out from Dignitas was well constructed, and it was like these really cool ideas that, in theory, and when you kind of like dry run them, actually work quite well.
Sure.
But then when players just kind of do these unorthodox things or catch you on the rotate or push out aggressively, it just call them off. So it's a bit of a shame almost that Dig didn't get more out of that, because I think we saw a lot of what they've been maybe working on Mirage there, but it just doesn't work against the bigger Danes.
Yeah, absolutely. And on the T side as well, we did see, I mean, a lot of the CT side of Dignitas pushing aggressively on T ramp a couple of times in that first half, and it cost them some key rounds. But 10-5 definitely wasn't a total to be upset with or unhappy. But unfortunately, Pistol went over to Astralis, and the rest is history. We can now pass it over to the desk. It's been a pleasure to have you guys here with us all night.
Actually, make sure you follow him, because, you know, he has only about 2K followers. He needs some love or just abuse. You can do what you want. Follow Uber Shouts on Twitter, because he deserves
That's
it.
fine. Anyway,
It's okay.
gentlemen.
Your mum needs to help you out sometimes, Mitch.
Please take the camera away from us.
Aw, Mama Lauren looking after her Australian son. It's gorgeous stuff. But yeah, you heard the man. Oh,
well, you heard the woman. Yeah.
I'm going to get being up for that one later. But that was our final game of the night concluded. Astralis making short work of Dignitas over on Mirage. How much is there to be said about that one, Halvor?
I feel, well, in this case, I feel the result isn't really indicative of how the game played out or how close Dignitas were to at least putting up the result, right? Yeah. I don't think there was any doubt that, well, it was evident that Astralis had pretty good control of it. And you can see oftentimes when just a better team overall plays a game like this, you can tell, like, that's when you get those rounds like you had Device Kerrigan do. Yeah. And you mentioned that as well. Like, that was one of the rounds you were like, oh, that's just so well played. Because it is. They have, you know, they have the experience, they have the know-how, and they have the skill to actually figure out how to solve those really tricky situations.
I mean, yes, they have the knowledge and they have the know-how, but the key word for me is skill, because it all hinges on Device hitting one shot on A to try and bait the rotate. He has got 3 people breathing down his neck, he hits that, and then proceeds to have Carrigan just have the presence of mind to be like, right, if we're going to play B, I'm going to leave config on B for as long as he could. And it basically was just 2 very, very smart players put into a situation that really they shouldn't win. 9 times out of 10, they shouldn't win. And I mean, that's evident. But they did, and they did it in such a stylish way that really does. It's kind of just testament and proof that Astralis deserved to win that game and win it by that margin.
Yeah, but you know, and again, to not, you know, just completely forget about, I guess, the work that Dignitas put in as well.
Talk about the pistol.
Exactly. Yeah. You saw the pistol, and this is something they did. The first time I saw it was during DreamHack Leipzig when they played Mirage there, and we were blown away because it hadn't been done before, as far as we knew, and it worked marvelously. And it's just such a cool idea because it's a common spot, and, you know, as evident by Cajun being there, and they just totally abuse whoever's playing from that ticket booth.
So do they, like, in Leipzig, do they do a double HE?
They 2 HEs, yeah, not 3.
So they basically do 2 HEs, and then but is there a smoke there as well? Because to me, I feel like that defeats the whole purpose of it.
No. Like, you put the smoke down because that forces a guy to peek up, right?
To get on the box, which you then HE.
Can get a couple of... Actually, first off, you see if anyone's there. Second of all, you actually might be able to get a couple of tags in on him while the nades are throwing, so he's not going to be able to run away from the nades either.
Okay.
And, you know, it's just, well, you want to obstruct vision, right?
That works.
So you're also blocking off potential quick rotations.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, okay. In my mind, you could maybe get, like, if you were trying to make sacrifices and get as much Kevlar as you could sacrifice that smoke on CT because you're HEing it and invest on, like, maybe like a stairs and jungle, and you've locked them out on towards connector.
You have to think about the fact that the smoke also buys you time to throw those HEs without fear of just getting instantly like bogged down, or getting dinked down by Cajun hopping up, or not having to hop up on ticket booth, right? He could just go for the straight shots.
Make life easy for him. Yeah,
exactly. So, no, it's a very well thought out piss around. You know, with just how the night was going, it was bound to be a loss somehow. So Kirby being a millisecond to too late to stop the defuse. In a situation where Dignitas has had superior afterplan positions, you have Rubino and Abs, who pretty much took the attention of two Astralis players. You have Tensky and Spawn already doing his thing, and obviously Kirby coming around. So if it had been sped up a tiny bit, I'm not sure if it's lack of communication or if, just a tiny slip up that doesn't really, he doesn't get the info that someone is on the defuse early enough. If that just changes, Dignitas could definitely get off to a better start, because they did start off the game very well by breaking Astralis right after they won the first round, or first half pistol.
But that was just those 2 rounds, and then Astralis were like, all right, that's fresh water in the face, off we go. And they started to accumulate rounds very, very quickly. One of my observations was kind of towards this whole device becoming more and more of the primary AWP. They kind of taken it away from Karrigan on a map like Mirage, where he often would play it. And we've seen Astralis adapt their game quite considerably around that. Now we see device actually taking the AWP often towards B site, as opposed to being more kind of invested into controlling middle on CT. And that's just the kind of, it's nice to see that these teams are adapting and developing in that way.
It adds to the unpredictability of Astralis, right? Because normally you like to pigeonhole them as this, they're going to play super defensive, they're going to play here, 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 and here. And they're still going to be extremely hard to deal with. But now with the added, added option of a roaming device with an AWP, that becomes a whole lot scarier.
It does seem like that's all he does now. He's just like, I'm going to choose anywhere on this map and I'm going to be there.
Seems to be working out pretty well as well.
Yep, no criticism here for that. But Astralis do pick up 2 wins. But if you have just joined us, let's remind you of what you may have missed earlier in the day, that you can go ahead and catch up on the VODs. We started our day with Mouse Sports, and Mouse Sports actually conceding 2 losses to Flipside Tactics. Flipside finally getting off the starting mark after sitting at 0-6 on the standings, now with 2 very important wins under their belt. They're going to be happy with that. Then we proceeded into Train, which was actually quite a one-sided affair. Navi picking that win up. The double digits for Envy was more of just a kind of cosmetic attachment. It didn't seem like the French were ever in it. And then Cobble was just a worse tale to tell, whereby we saw 16-7 in favor of Navi.
With 9 rounds on the CT side for Navi, which is unheard of. So not surprising to see Navi picking up that game with ease after having a first half like that.
And of course, just to remind you guys what may have happened pre-Mirage, we saw Inferno between Astralis and Dignitas, with Astralis, as we coined it, playing with their food somewhat.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. Astralis showing who's the big dog in the Danish scene as of right now. Dignitas had the opportunity to pretty up the result, which is nice and all. Astralis didn't give them that opportunity on Mirage.
So, bittersweet for Dignitas. They may have conceded 2 losses, but they also secured their spot in DreamHack Malmo, which is coming up a little later on. You'll have seen the advert, and you probably will see it again when we do go away. We are, however, going to be coming back on Tuesday with more CS, 4 games instead of 6, and that's going to be coming up very, very shortly. You do have 1 day break, and of course that day break could be filled with many, many moons of CS. You could be playing it, you could be watching it. Meisterschaft, of course, around the corner as well.
Could be on a plane.
You could be on a plane if you're a Norwegian analyst currently residing in Cologne. But we have SKF3, of course, Flipside Tactics, going to be battling out over Mirage and a funny-looking Train.
Yeah, very fun-looking Train. Got a bit of a retouch over the weekend.
Yeah, that's a new kind of
cash-esque
Train. But alongside that, then we'll have Mouse Dig battling over Cobble and Inferno.
Yeah, pretty big games coming up, especially SK Flipside in that relegation battle. So that's going to be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, talking relegation battle, Dignitas also going to be dire need those 2 wins. Every single time we're sitting here now, they're actually in a really, really tight spot and going to be in dire need of those 2 wins against Mouse, who recently just conceded 2 losses to the aforementioned Flipside. All's well that ends well, though, guys. It has once again been a pleasure to bring you the Counter-Strike. Much love once again to our Australian and British mother, as they, of course, soldiered on through 6 games. But now we say goodbye, and when we come back on Tuesday, it'll be more of the same. Same time, same place. We'll see you then.